Broadcasting live from sunny South Florida, this is KMA Talk Radio. Life, liberty, and the pursuit of fine cigars. Your KMA crew, the Italian Scallion, Paul DeGracco, Alex Tavella, a.k.a. The Goat, and always telling it like it is, Honest Abe.
I like to smoke them like the Winston Churchill, like John Kennedy, yeah. Remember Coach Red Auerbach, smoked up for victory, yeah. Well, you can take my wife, you can take my car, but you can't take my big cigar. My cigar.
Good morning, KMA. That's my Abe impression. Good morning, everybody. It is, I'm just going to call myself Producer Paul. Coming to you live this morning with KMA Talk Radio. I'm opening because there have been some issues with Abe's travels yesterday, but he will be with us to talk about it. And of course, joining me is the GOAT himself, everybody's favorite. I don't know what to call you. Like Philadelphian? Is that the right word?
I mean, amongst other things, yeah, I can go with Philadelphian, South Philadelphian. I have to distinguish.
And joining us as well, of course, everybody's favorite correspondent coming in as a guest host again today is William Cooper from cigar-coop.com. Hey, Coop.
Hey, guys. How's it going?
Is that a real background or virtual?
It is virtual, but it is the actual background behind me because there's a sun glare. I'm down in Miami. I've been in Florida the last 2 weeks, but I've been in Miami right now. But that is the actual view from behind me. I took a picture of it right before.
So you took a picture of the background behind you and then made a virtual background? Wow.
Yeah, because otherwise it was glare. The glare was coming in really bad. But where I stay, I actually have a room right beside the pool, which is fantastic to have.
Wow.
So this is one of my favorite places to stay down here.
That's high level.
Cool. Yeah, you've been like, is the whole family with you touring around Florida?
No, we were in Orlando for about 9 days before I came down here as the final. I'm doing the final leg of the trip. We took the whole family. My mom also came down, and we did our annual vacation in Florida, which we happened to time always with the Drew Estate Barn Smoker. So that worked well. Cool. And everyone's there with my son-in-law.
Man.
What?
I said that's high level thinking, you know.
Yeah, but believe it or not, after Barn Smoker, it was really family time. I don't get it's not my kids are all over 21. To get all of them in the same place at that age, you're gonna find it's very difficult. And we don't have a lot of time like that anymore, just as they get older and they do their own things. So it was really, really good to do that. And then I always look at an opportunity to get to Miami, so I went to Miami. Even missed my wedding anniversary to go to Miami.
Coop, favorite place in the world, right?
Yeah, well, we celebrate our anniversary a few days beforehand, so it wasn't a big deal on that. But my wife was like, "Yeah, why don't you go down there? You don't get, when you're down there, get down there." So I'm down here.
Once you're married that long, it's just another day
32
anyway,
years.
right?
It's 32 years, Paul. I mean, it's a long.
Wow.
So Coop, would Miami be the preferable retirement place?
Yes, it probably wouldn't be Miami. I think I'd be up further north where you guys are.
Where you can just get to where you can get there as much
where
as
I could
want,
get there, yeah. Where I could get there,
absolutely.
but it probably wouldn't be Miami proper per se.
Paul, you might as well just bring him in because he's not going to be able to see your text.
Okay, I know that there's a warehouse in Hialeah Gardens where they might have some space where they put the barber chair at Espinosa. Maybe you can hang out there.
You never know. I'll be crashing there, but I'll also be, I could always crash there for sure. But I'll also probably crash at Caribbean Cigars. They're open late tonight, so.
Oh, nice. All right, so we're gonna bring Abe in remote from an undisclosed location. There he is.
Yeah, I'm not in sunny South Florida. I'll tell you that.
It looks pretty sunny there, though.
You know what? This is actually really nice weather. It's about, I'm gonna guess about 60, maybe 65 degrees. So it's cool, but not hot. Which we're here for a wedding, so I got to be in a suit for like 8 hours. So I'm actually happy about the coolness.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
but
that's the one thing. Weddings in Florida in a full suit, and like you see here too. It's weird here than any other place I've ever been in the country. People don't wear suits to weddings. I'm usually like one of like a few guys in a suit.
It's acceptable because of the weather. I mean, usually I'll wear a sport jacket or something, but yeah, I won't do a suit in Florida.
It's interesting how when you change your geographics, it actually changes your thought perspective, because you just said it's cool, it's decent. 65 in Florida is like borderline cold.
Yeah, we're outside with a jacket on.
But in Chicago, you're like, it's cool, it's nice. Down here, we'd be like, it's getting cold. It's getting cold down here.
Well, Chicago's one of those weird places, right? I mean, it could be like 30 today and then 80 tomorrow. That's the way it's always been. Like, especially this time of year, as you go in between seasons, it'll go from one extreme to another. So
it could be cold and windy by tonight, right?
Literally. So
that's the nice thing, though. It could be 80 degrees during the day, and then at night, you get like a cool 55. That's what I always loved about Long Island. That you get a hot summer day, but then at night it cools down. Here it just gets more humid, and you sweat more when you walk outside at night to walk the dogs and stuff than you do during the day half the time.
Well,
This is not the fun time.
I want to thank Coop for filling in for me today. This has really ended up being like pretty much almost a planes, trains, and automobile story. I've never had a worse 1-day trip of travel in my life than yesterday. It was horrendous. I mean, like literally, like you can do a documentary. It was just stupid, silly. I gashed the top of my head. I think American Airlines thinks I'm going to sue them. They're freaking out. Like literally,
you amazingly suddenly got a flight.
The pilot. No, dude. Listen to me. This is so. Look, we had to come.
God, this guy bumped his head. Let's get him on a flight. Get him where he needs to go.
We had to go to my cousin's wedding. So, and we're actually leaving on a big trip next weekend. So I was really planning on not coming to his wedding. I texted him. I'm like, listen, I'm sorry, I can't come. Like, we're literally leaving the next weekend. But it's a very close cousin of ours. And actually, my wife's like, oh, you got to go. So we planned this literally. We were flying in yesterday. The wedding's today. We fly back tomorrow. So,
whose wedding?
Fatty. He comes to the Great Smoke.
I was going to say, who literally comes to everything.
Everything, literally.
Everything.
So came to my birthday party. So, we booked the flight. Now, normally I have a way I travel. Like I will always book the first flight out, 5 a.m., 6 a.m. I don't care. I like being on early flights in the morning. And for whatever reason, I couldn't get one, so we ended up leaving like at 1:30. Well, there was thunderstorms in West Palm Beach, and if there's a
it was bad.
Strike,
it was bad yesterday.
If there's a lightning strike within 10 miles, they shut everything down.
All flights are grounded. Yeah.
So we didn't leave for about an hour and a half later, and we literally had like an hour and a half for our connection, right? In Charlotte. So we don't make the connection, and everybody's racing, and we finally get to the service desk, and this guy can't get us anywhere near Chicago. He can't get us anywhere. He can't get us anywhere until 6 p.m. tonight, which the reception starts at 6. So there's no point coming at that point. Right? So then we said, fuck it, let's try to get home. We can't get home. Right? And you know how when you're talking to somebody, I always tell my wife, sometimes I hear on a call with customer service, and I'm like, just hang up and call back, because I could tell you got an idiot.
That person is not going to help you. Yeah.
That person is not going to help you. Hang up, call back, and if you get somebody halfway intelligent, you're way better off. So I could tell talking to this guy, he was the least intelligent person there. There was 2 other women in this guy, and he's going through all this thing. And the problem with me is, I have to fly first class. I just don't fit in coach. I just don't physically. Before I could afford first class tickets, I used to always buy 2 coach tickets to fly. I would literally buy 2 seats, and that way I knew I was always guaranteed to have an empty seat next to me.
Right.
So then that's the other obstacle, was trying to get home where we could get we can get the first class tickets we paid for, because when they're reassigning you a flight, man, there's no guarantee of shit. They just get you wherever they can get you. So the guy says he can't do it. Finally gets us on a 9 a.m. flight to come back to West Palm Beach today. And that's why I called Alex and look, I'm not going to be on the show. I'm going to be on a plane tomorrow and whatnot. So now I got to find a hotel, because we got to spend the night in Charlotte. So I literally book a hotel, non-refundable. That was an hour ordeal getting that money back. I book a hotel, and then the thing shows up in my app to check in for my 9 a.m. flight. So when I go to check in, it's all coach seats. So I'm like, what the fuck? So I try to call American Airlines. I'm waiting for the shuttle to take us to the hotel, looking for a place for us to go to dinner. And it's fucking an hour and 20-minute wait, or get a return phone call. So I'm like, fuck this. I'm at the airport. Let's go inside. We go inside to the regular, where you book your tickets and check in, in the upper level. And we go up to this guy, and I tell him the whole scenario. I'm like, look, this guy's supposed to be first class. And the guy says, well, why did you cancel going to Chicago? I said, we didn't cancel. The guy said he couldn't get it. He goes, I can get you on the 8:30 flight. I said, are you fucking kidding me?
Oh my God.
So
I'd be so pissed.
So not only does this guy get us on their 8:30 flight, but now he's got to cancel the ticket for us coming back in the morning. Make sure we have the original ticket that we had coming from Chicago back tomorrow, which got canceled. Gets us on this flight 2 coach seats. So my wife's like, "Don't worry, you could just take a quarter of mine. We'll bear with it for 2.5 hours." So I literally texted my cousin. I said, "That's how much I love you. I'm actually flying coach to get over here." So
how did it go?
Curious. Did you wind up with a rent-a-car?
I'm getting there. It's part of this.
Oh,
fucking
geez.
I was going to say, I know.
Wait, there's more.
It's part of this series of unfortunate events, right? So my wife's seeing me having anxiety about this. We're literally like 30 minutes in the plane. She goes, let me go ask. I said, the guy said there was no first class seats. Why would you go ask? Undeterred, she goes up, and there was one first class seat. So she opted to let me sit first class while she sat in coach for the ride to Chicago. So I didn't have to suffer.
Wow.
Yeah, flying coach. But so then we get here. There's a lightning storm in Chicago. We can't get off the plane.
Ah,
So this rent-a-car, 6 in the airport, closed at 10 o'clock. I'm trying to call them. Forget about customer service in this country. It's mind-boggling. There isn't a human being alive. 6 rent-a-car, literally you can't get to a human being if your life depended on it, right?
right.
So we finally get, my wife is running. At this point, I'm beat up. I'm exhausted. She's running. We get to the counter, and I'm not bullshitting you. It hasn't become 10:01 yet. The second hand is still moving from 10 o'clock to 10:01 in the minute. And they said, we're closed. I said, what do you mean you're closed? I said, what do you mean we're closed? Now, granted, my dad would come and pick me up, but my dad's 83 years old, and it's a thunderstorm.
Right.
And I'm not making him drive to O'Hare Airport at 11 o'clock, 11:30 at night. I'm like, fuck this. So they said, listen, at 10 o'clock, this shit shuts down like automatic. A safe lock. We can't get the keys. There's nothing we can do. So luckily, the Avis lady heard what was going on. She rents us a car. Oh, I forgot to say about, so when we're getting on the plane first class, I go to put my luggage and Brandy's luggage up on top, and then I go to sit down. Now, you know the bins that have the luggage?
Yep.
I guess the molding was missing. I really didn't notice. So the wood that it's made out of was exposed. So I hit my head, and let me tell you something. Normally the molding would have just been a bump, but it just took a whole slab of skin off the top.
Yeah,
of the
he
head.
sent me a
Oh
picture.
my
It's one of
God.
those. It's one of those like that.
Like a
doesn't
burn.
hurt, It burns. It burns
Like a burn,
type.
like a.
Yeah.
It looks like a concrete burn. So I'm gonna look like Gorbachev this whole summer probably.
Oh,
So, and they're freaking out. Literally, like the pilot came up with the pilot came up with Neosporin and Band-Aids and whatever. I'm like, man, just give me
Oh my
something to
God.
stop the bleeding and let me get the fuck off this plane. So we end up getting here 11 o'clock, whatever. So I text the guys and said, I'll be on this morning, right? And go pull my laptop out. No power. Go to plug it in. I dragged this laptop across 3 states, bought across the whole country. No power cable. And
Oh
Alex
my
starts,
God.
wait. So Alex starts laughing. I told both you guys, wait, listen, boys are worse. Wait till your boys get older, man. You won't find any of your shit. They'll be taking your chargers.
yeah. Oh yeah.
And let me Coop will tell you. And wait
Yeah.
till food, because boys eat like locusts.
Oh my
You're gonna
goodness.
come home and you're never gonna find food. Anything you like or anything you want, they're gonna eat it.
Yeah, and they just cleaned us out when we were vacationing in Orlando. Trust me. Like we bought a ton. We had to go shopping 3 times.
Oh my God.
It's funny.
Yeah.
Carmine has this new thing he does now. Apparently, pillows are too small to wrestle. So he literally comes, takes a couch cushion off the couch to bring it into his room to be his wrestling match.
That's
so I gotta sit
that's
there
what my
minus-
boys do. They
minus
take all the
one couch
cushions off.
cushion.
They'll start moving your car key. You know, I'm a guy by nature. Like I literally set my car keys in the same spot every day. I never have to look for them.
Mhm.
You know, they'll start moving your car keys. Oh, they had to go run to your car. They left something in there. Then they'll put it somewhere you'll never find it. And when you go to look for your car keys, they're all at school. You're like, where the? Oh,
Then they'll start taking your car, Abe. That's you're gonna get to
Hey.
that point.
Yeah.
That's happened. So car keys has happened to me twice. Stephanie's last 2 leases, I could not find my keys because they play with them. They go in
Yep.
the same spot every day I come in. You know, she drives a Mercedes. It's $700 for a key.
Oh, yeah.
Twice now I've had to
They're not
pay.
cheap.
I've had
They-
to pay $700 for friggin' keys for returning leases. I was oh God, it's the
I couldn't
worst.
tell you how many
And,
new remotes.
and
I've
Paul,
had
you're
to
driving
do.
the golf cart.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly.
But we ended
Man,
up
I don't
making
leave the
it.
house.
We ended up making it. I don't have a computer set up, but I wanted to jump on. So okay, I can at least mess with the Burger Beast. This is a challenge. See, what he secretly doesn't know, I flew into Chicago to get some secrets from some local chefs here. really
Well, so
competing.
we're gonna talk to we have Terrence and Josh to talk about the special 5-pack that Smoke Inn has. So I want to bring them on first. So let's do this. So we have it's a good time to talk about it since we get to our guests. So we have Terrence Riley from Aganorsa Leaf, and Joshua Katz from. So, guys, tell us a little bit about this special 5-pack that you've done in collaboration with Smoke Inn.
Well, I guess Josh, his father reached out to me through a mutual or common friend a couple of years ago regarding the organization, and I'll let Josh talk about it. And we thought it was an incredible cause, so we put together a sampler of 5 of our best cigars: our Rare Leaf, Supreme Leaf, our 2 signature selections, and Hombre Libre, as Alex is holding up right there. And a portion of the proceeds go towards this organization. And I'll let Josh talk about that because it's a really great cause.
Yeah, Josh, tell us about the organization.
All right. Well, before I do that, I just wanted to thank everybody who was involved in this. Agnerosa, Leaf Terrence, the Smoke Inn for hosting the event, and for Dissimilar Lighters. I want to thank all you guys and everybody who came out. Means a lot to me. So, my organization is called POW MIA Overeat. It is a program where I go out and live read all the names of all the soldiers interred at a national cemetery, and I go out and place one of these challenge coins. Let me flip it over the right way. I place one of these challenge coins on every single headstone, and when I'm done with the event, I will pick up all the challenge coins, give them out to the family members so they know that their loved ones haven't been forgotten. I ended up starting this event 8 years ago in 2014 through Boy Scouts, and I still run it through the Boy Scouts, where I go over to different national cemeteries and I find out what troops and what groups are in the area. I teach them how to do the event, how to place the coins correctly, how to walk around in the national cemeteries being respectfully, and bring them through the entire process of my event in order to show them what needs to be done, and that way they can continue it on their own, and I don't need to fly out everywhere every single time I host my event.
So you're passing on the tradition to others, so that we can have it can be more widely spread, basically across the country.
Yep, exactly. My hope and goal is to get it to be nationwide. Before the pandemic hit, we were basically going to the 4 corners of the country and just slowly going in, but because of the pandemic, it obviously put a hindrance on that. So we're now starting to get back onto that. I went up to Oregon and Washington in order to find some national cemeteries up there. They love the idea up there. I have people up in New York that are going to be helping me expand it over there. And I plan on probably going over to other side, the below side towards like California and Texas in order to go in from there.
Wow. And this has some of the most sought after Aganorsa products, Terrence. I mean, the Supreme Leaf, the Rare Leaf. I mean, this is a good 5-pack, actually. I'm looking at all the cigars in there.
Yeah, we wanted to be a special pack. We've never sold these cigars together. So there's a Rare, Supreme, like you said, both signature selections. And then Hombre Libre, we thought was a good addition as well from our Lunatic line. And it includes a card that talks about the organization. So we made 200 of these, and they're all available through Smoke Inn.
Alex, can they buy it on the website?
Yes, they can. If they go to smokein.com, it's the first slider on the homepage. They'll be able to see it.
Okay, so smokein.com, check it out. It goes towards a great cause. Thank you guys for joining us today. We just wanted to get the word out there. Josh, seriously, thank you for what you're doing.
Absolutely.
It's amazing.
Thank you.
Guys,
all right,
thank you so much for having us. Have a great show.
Take care, guys.
We'll see you soon, Terrence. All right,
Take
bye.
care, Jim.
Well, that's cool. Is Abe back? Yeah, there he is. All right.
Yeah, I
Abe,
just want to mention, if anybody's interested in those packs, I really do believe, I was texting with Mox and Briggs this morning, there's like less than 20 of them left from that whole run, so there won't be a lot.
Cope's got one in his hands there.
Listen, Terrence ain't kid. This is a great what you get in this pack. You get
It really is.
It really, it's a no-brainer, and plus the cause is great.
Honestly,
No, that's great.
this may be the only place you can get yourself a Supreme Leaf right now. Is
Oh,
this
yeah.
pack.
I was
yeah.
I was
And
going
it's
to
a
say,
Toro.
yeah.
It's a Toro size,
And
which
it's a
I don't
Toro.
think you can get anywhere. Yeah, right
Right.
now. They're long gone.
Is that what we smoked when we were up in Orlando, Alex?
No,
we
that
smoked
was
the Toro?
well, that was the boxed press Toro.
Oh, right.
that
Okay.
they released. This looks like a this a round coop?
No, it's a box press. It's slightly box pressed.
Oh yeah, it's slightly box press.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
but yeah, they haven't released this size in
No.
over a year. So
Absolutely. Right. That's
so
what we smoked when we went to Tampa at Corona Paul.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Okay.
Is that what you meant by Orlando when we were in Tampa?
I meant Tampa. I'm
Okay,
sorry, I meant
it's
Tampa.
literally in my head. I'm like, when did fucking Alex and Paul go to Orlando together?
Yeah.
I was like, I'm going
go to
I'm like,
Disney.
When the fuck did Alex
I
sneak
meant-
a Disney trip covertly in there? I'm
Listen,
like,
I get around.
when did
Not
Orlando
Disney.
together?
I don't go to Tampa.
We
I
did
know
not
when
sip
we- I
Disney
know
when
there's-
we were there. I'm going to tell you that. Paul knows that.
I know there's no Turkish
Yeah.
bathhouse in Orlando, so I am trying to figure it out.
All right.
Well, I
So we have another special guest coming on before our Meet Your Makers that Abe, I'm glad you're on to talk about this, but you have a pretty big event coming up where you're going to be kind of under the gun, man. Like people are going to be
Yeah.
looking to you for this competition. You want to talk about the burger battle, the Camacho burger battle?
Get the beast on. Let me chit
All
chat
right.
with him. We're gonna start.
Here he
we're
is,
gonna-
the burger beast himself,
Burger
ladies and
beast.
gentlemen.
What's up, guys?
Seth
Hey.
How you
Gonzalez,
doing?
aka the Burger Beast. So Camacho came to me with this idea about doing this thing called the Camacho Bold Burger Battle, and they're doing a series of events, I guess, with a bunch of stores, and they were telling me how it works. And I guess Seth is going to come out to a location and do his famous burgers, and they were looking for somebody local to kind of do a burger to compete. And I'm like, why am I going to bring somebody local, man? I'll compete against them. So this is literally going to be, I'm going to cook a burger, he's going to cook a burger, and there'll be 50 guys in the store who will be the judge. And I got to give it to Seth, really. I mean, I got nothing to lose because he's the beast.
Right.
And, you know, I'm the underdog in this situation. He's the beast. But Seth, why don't you tell our listeners a little bit about who you are, how you got the title, the Burger Beast, and what exactly does the Burger Beast do?
Wait a second. I mean, what do you mean I don't got anything to lose? What if I lose to you?
No, I don't have anything to lose. It's hard. I'm the underdog. I'm the expected loser here. You know, the guy named the Burger Beast is supposed to win, in my opinion.
Well, regardless of what happens, I'm going to talk crap, so it doesn't matter.
we wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, the Burger Beast started as a blog in 2008. I was just kind of writing about places I love to eat, and then it kind of grew into this thing where I started doing food events and started doing road trips across the country. And I wrote a book a few years ago called All About the Burger, about the history of the burgers. And 5 years ago, I started doing burger pop-ups, and it's just everything revolving around comfort food. And that's what I do, you know, and I kind of shine the spotlight on a lot of mom and pops. That's my main thing, you know.
This is your full-time career.
Yeah. I was in retail
awesome.
management for a long time, and then in 2011, I left to do this full time, and it was I was curating a lot of food truck events, so it allowed me the opportunity to make the jump. My mother, you know, I'm married. I just want to before I bring up my mom, this guy, before anyone thinks I'm living at home with my mom. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you know, my mom's like, "Are you crazy? You're gonna leave your insurance at your job and your bonuses?" And I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." And so I started doing it full time, and we just found our way just doing. I mean, we set a Guinness World Record for the largest parade of food trucks. And,
I was just going to mention that. It's something I read about the other day. That's pretty cool. The largest parade of food trucks. And you weren't you one of the first guys to really in the Miami area to like kind of start the whole food truck thing? Was that something I read about you?
I did the first event in Florida, the first food truck event in Florida.
Wow.
We did
That's awesome.
We did it in downtown at the Adrian Arts Center. Yeah. And it was supposed to be an arts festival, and it ended up just being really everyone was there for the food. Probably one of the hottest days.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
Alex came on and I just lost sound as soon as he popped back up on screen.
I have that effect on
Sounds
people.
about right.
Shit.
Yeah. Well, while he talks about that, Seth, you also have a restaurant, right? Or is that am I reading that incorrectly? So
Miami,
tell us about the restaurant, man.
Sure. Miami Springs, which is right near the airport, because kind of people don't know where Miami Springs is. Miami Airport, of course. It's called Crackers Southern Dining, and it's all Southern comfort food. So you can
And that's
get,
your thing.
like shrimp and grits, and my burgers are available there. They're not always available. They're kind of like a secret menu item. If you ask for it, they'll make it for you, but it's not.
Like Terrence Riley's restaurant, Alex. He's got secret stuff on his menu.
Right.
Yeah.
Actually, it's funny. It's interesting. Seth does have a little bit of a home field up here. I forget the guy's name. I wish I remembered it. But I had a guy who called in. He's local. He comes to our shops, but he said he's actually friends with you, and he's going to be here, Seth. So it won't just be smoking crew rooting for Abe. He'll have a little cheering section as well.
I hope everyone's cheering against me. I like being the villain.
Well, listen, I do gotta say I'm taking
ahead,
this seriously. I've been getting advice and tips because look, and listen, even though this is like a hardcore competition, I don't think both of us want to win. Seth was actually a gentleman because like I even had to ask him some tips. I'm like, look, I've never cooked a burger on a flat grill. I've always used a barbecue pit, a gas or a coal grill. And he's like, oh, my guy will be there. So if you have any questions, he'll be able to help you out. But I've been practicing. I got a couple of things that I taste testing. So by Wednesday, I think I'm going to be ready. So I got all the ingredients lined up. By Tuesday, I should have everything. And I'm going for the win.
Wow.
I'm going for the burger win.
And look, honestly, if I try your burger and it needs something, I'll give you some of my sauce and help you out a little bit.
So the Camacho Bold Burger Battle will be Wednesday, May 25th at 5 p.m. You can get tickets on smokein.com. It comes with a really cool pack for the day. And then how does it work, guys? Everybody's going to get to taste your burger that's at the event. They get half of it, one of Abe's and half of one of Burger Beast's.
Yep.
And then they decide?
If you're there live and you bought a live ticket, you'll get your Camacho Bold Hype Kit, which is a 5-pack, and some seasoning rub from Coconut Cartel and this chocolate-covered bacon strip. It's a whole little package. You'll get that when you show up for the live event. The fine folks from Coconut Cartel Rum will be there live doing a tasting. And Seth and I will be cooking. He'll be doing his burger. I'll be doing mine. They'll be cutting them in half and serving them. So you get half of his, half of mine, and then you'll have a little scorecard. And then we're going to collect all the ballots, and then we're gonna see who wins. And then Seth's bringing some nice signed books. We're going to raffle off by drawing all the cards. Now, if you're at home, you can still participate virtually. You can get the same hype kit. The fine folks, even at Coconut Cartel Rum, even include a little sampling for you so you can participate completely. And my man Alex will be doing a broadcast so you can watch the Burger Beast and I working at it and serving up the burgers, and we'll see who ends up being. Is this your first Burger Battle event?
No, second.
Second. All right. So we'll see. Now, the first event you did they bring in somebody, or did you end up just doing it yourself?
No.
See?
We're gonna be. You're the guinea pig.
We like to set
Very
the standard. Cool. That's what it is. We like to set the standard. But yeah, I mean, how
this should be interesting.
You coming, Paul?
Versus the Burger Beast.
Put Paul on the spot.
I don't remember if I'm going to Disney that week, but I'm not sure if I'll be here.
When are you going to Disney?
It's next week.
Again?
When are you going to Disney?
Next weekend. Again, I haven't been there for 2.5 months.
It's Wednesday. What are you going to be?
Well, Thursday is my birthday.
We're going for my birthday. How do I get out of this one? Come on, Paul. It's Wednesday.
It's the Burger Battle. Burger Beast Battle.
No, I think I can go. I think I can go Wednesday, actually.
I
think I can go because we're not leaving till Thursday.
Did you hear his comment? I haven't been to Disney in 2.5 months, bro. Seriously, you're like the epitome.
I haven't been to Disney in 39 years.
Seriously.
Exactly.
Look, if you're going to Orlando, you should only be going to Gatorland, and that's it.
No. Absolutely.
Gatorland. Oh man,
that place is great. That place is good. I like that place.
We're still trying.
Well, cool guys.
A little bit.
Are there still tickets available, guys?
Yep. We got a little bit of tickets for both the live. Though the live has got me close because I haven't really looked at it, but we got some live tickets still left, and we got some virtual. So you can do either one. Just go to smokein.com and you can pick up your ticket. But I'm looking forward to
the Camacho Burger Battle.
And not only am I going to destroy you, I'm also going to bring some sauces that we can give away.
God dang it!
Well,
so listen,
he sells sauces.
I got a question. What you gonna do when Burger Beast runs wild on you, brother?
Yeah. So listen, I got a secret sauce The secret
All
sauce is either gonna make me or break me. So I tested it out on my whole family the other day. They all loved it. So we'll see. I got a secret sauce going on there, so I'm not coming unprepared. This is a guy who I put in some time and effort in this one.
Yeah, my sauce is a guava sriracha ketchup. So, and that's
wow
out there.
Wow, that actually sounds.
Nice.
Oh, now I have to come.
Yeah, way to be supportive of your home team, Paul. Guava sriracha sauce. Now I have to come.
All right. Well, Burger Beast, Seth, it's great. It's great to talk to you. We will we'll look forward to that live event on the 25th. That's next Wednesday, May 25th at 5 p.m. Tickets still available at smokein.com. Thank you, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, guys.
All right. Take care.
Before I
Well, that was cool.
Before I hop off, I just want to give a little bit of credit where credit's due. First off, got to thank my man Evan Darnell hooking me up with Easy Meats, who are making me a special patty for this event. And the fine folks at Potions and Motions. I actually went to their warehouse the other day. They gave me a couple pointers. The guy flat grilled a burger for me there. And that's where I'm getting my special sauce. So
A little sexy sauce?
No, because the sexy stuff is too sweet.
True.
So it would make it a really, really sweet liquor. But I will say this. Part of my my secret attack is there will be some sexy bacon included.
Oh,
you see that light up? So yeah.
All right.
No, I'm not taking
bacon is a secret weapon. There's no doubt.
I'm not taking this lightly, man. I'm going for the win.
Well, good for you, man. All right, do we have to say goodbye to you, Abe, before we bring in our Meet Your Makers?
Literally, I'm at my parents' house. I got no stand. I'm holding this phone up. I keep switching my hands because it's getting tired holding it up. So I'm gonna hop off.
I want you to take a video of your parent. This is the house you grew up in that they're in?
This is literally the house I grew up in for the first 26 years of my life.
Can you just take us into your bedroom quick? Is that possible? I just want to see it.
My old bedroom doesn't look nothing. But yeah, so this is like the main street. It's called Harlem.
Wow.
This is the house behind me. Get it in there.
Yeah, so, typical suburban Chicago home, big.
So what's funny is this street right here. Everybody's gonna get a little tour. They're doing some kind of major construction in front of my family's house, but this street right down here, if you can see it, see that street?
Yeah.
If you go 2 miles straight, you hit the high school I went to, Notre Dame High School for boys. So it's really straight down this street. This street here, Harlem, is a main road, and this is where most of the people who went to my high school, who lived like in the suburbs of Chicago, would come and they turn here. And when we were in the state playoffs, this was a guest bedroom window, so I literally spray painted a big bed sheet, Go Dons of Notre Dame, and put our logo, and it hung out there for like the whole off season when we were in the state playoffs. The whole time it was sitting out there, and everybody who was driving down saw it. But yeah, this is where I grew
honks all the time. That's cool.
Yeah, they were honking the house. So I lived like in a strategic spot when I went to high school. My wife's gonna get mad. She's got some kind of dress crisis. She came out during the show, so I have to.
Oh boy!
But yeah,
run.
Yeah, simple, basic house. My parents.
Oh, it's nice, big.
That's the famous room that everybody, especially Italians, would know. That's the room that nobody ever uses.
Nobody sits in.
Yeah,
nobody ever sits in.
I have that room.
Is there plastic on the?
No,
yeah, exactly.
We don't do the
Why not?
Thing, but nobody ever sits in that room. And then this is our basic, the main living room. This is where we would spend most of our time. The one thing I do miss in Florida, which I used to live, is one of these.
Basement?
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, basements are great.
So in my teenage years, that's kind of where I lived. And when I had a graphics company, I took it over. I got to make sure I don't put anybody. But yeah, this is the room that nobody.
Yeah, that's the formal living room or the parlor, like Coop has.
Parlor, yes.
Yeah.
You don't use it. That's the idea. I brought it out for special occasion. Yeah.
My dad's Arab picture, and
that's your dad.
That one's my dad. That's the Raj. Okay. And then my grandfather's up here somewhere. It's hard to.
Yeah, geez, I thought that was your grandfather. I've seen pictures of your grandfather before.
That's my grandfather, and then I don't know what's in the room I grew up in. But it's just
I bet you it's the same.
No. My dad uses it like a desk now, whatever. So This was my bathroom growing up. My wife sounds like she's no, don't open the door. This is the room we're staying in. This is my brother's old room, my younger brother.
Ah.
But I will tell you what's cool. I think I posted a picture of this before. Kevin Shahan posted something that he found like in first grade or something. This I made in kindergarten.
Oh my God! Hold on. Go ahead, show that. Wow. Whoa, it's kind of scary. I'm not gonna lie.
Self-portrait.
Yeah, I don't know what this was.
Is that a cigar?
I don't know.
Yeah, it might be.
On the nose, kind of?
It
Yeah,
might
I'm looking at even back then.
But I drew this on a paper plate in kindergarten, and they make it into a hard plate, and it's still here.
That's adorable.
It is.
It's still here.
You should sell those at Smoke Inn.
All right, I'm fascinated by this, but
Yes,
Alex,
yeah.
tell me if this is boring, because this is like
Well, I know Paul, but
how you
this is
make
the
an
room.
Abe.
This is the room I grew up in.
I mean, we got some guests waiting.
There you go.
That's pretty much it.
Wow.
That's a tour of where I grew up.
There you
All
go.
right, I just needed that. I needed that for my own edification. This is how you make an Abe.
This is how you make an Abe. All right, guys.
All right, Abe.
I
Take
appreciate it.
care.
I'll be in touch. Give my regards to Danny and Arielle. Have a great show, fellas.
All right, take care, Abe.
All right. So we're gonna bring them. We're gonna bring them on. We'll do our Meet Your Maker video and bring on Danny and Arielle. Here we go.
I want all of you to get up out of your chairs. I want you to get up right now and go to the window, open it, and stick your head out and yell.
It's time to meet your maker.
And joining us, not for their first time on KMA, but joining us once again, friends of the show, Danny Ditkowich and his daughter Arielle from La Sirena Cigars. Welcome, guys.
Good morning.
Thank you. Can you just flip that? Arielle and her
I'm
father. How
Well,
are
you
guys?
you kind of run the show with the brand, right? That's the deal.
We're a team. But when I started, it was, oh, Danny's daughter Arielle. And now it's,
Right.
oh, you're Arielle's father. So I like to rub it in every once in a while.
So so take us through this, guys. Well, now Danny, you were supposed to be back in New York with Arielle, but now tell us what you had a whole travel issue too, right?
Yeah, well, it was very funny. So I'm in Vegas, and I get a message from Abe that he's having travel problems and he's having major issues and he may not be on the show. So I text him back, are you canceling the show or are you just not going to be on the show? And he said,
right.
Oh, the show must go on. I said, great. And then 2 hours later, I'm on the phone with my wife. She goes, have you checked your flight? I said, no, why? And she said, it's raining here in New York. I checked, my flight's canceled 3 hours. No problem. I was leaving at 10 a.m. to land at 6. So now it's leaving at, I was landing at 10 p.m. to land at 6 a.m. Now it's 12:44 a.m. landing at 8:44 a.m. Perfect. I get to the airport. I have no bags. Jump in the car, get home. Arielle and Max will set everything up in our man cave, and I'll be there at 8:45 to, do what I got to do.
Be there, right? Just come right from the airport and be right there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Well, I always fly. Well, we'll get to that. So anyway, then 2 hours later, I'm having dinner, and I get a message from Delta. My flight's canceled, and they put me on the 7:10 a.m. flight. That means 10 o'clock, 10:10 your time. So I said that can't happen. I have the radio show.
Right.
What So now, like Abe, I'm flying first class, and they moved me to the 7:10 flight first class. No problem. I call Arielle up. I said, what am I doing? She goes, you better figure something out. Now I'm having dinner on hold for Delta, and I eventually get someone on the phone. I said, listen, I'm supposed to be flying out tonight. They delayed it. They canceled it. Now they have me flying at 7:10, 10:10 New York time. I'm supposed to be on a radio show at 9:45. She goes, well, the next two flights are canceled. Not canceled, I'm sorry. It was sold out. So I said, what about the 10 o'clock flight Saturday night, which gets me in at 6 a.m. Sunday morning. And this way I could do the radio show from Vegas. I mean, technology is amazing. And actually, originally when we booked this, I was going to be in Vegas till Saturday Night Red Eye. But then I said, no, I want to be in the man cave with Arielle doing the show. We haven't done the show for a while together. I've been on the show separately. She's been on the show separately. We've been on the show together your wedding weekend. Oh, and by the way, your birthday's Thursday. Arielle's birthday is Tuesday. So,
oh, nice. A fellow Gemini.
Yeah.
Lots of personalities on this call, right?
So anyway, but the problem was, like Abe, we can get you on the 10 p.m. flight Saturday night, but we can't give you your first class. What are you talking about? First class is sold out. I said, well, I got to do the show. I'm going to have to fly coach. And right after they booked me on coach, I got upgraded to my Delta Comfort. And they won't guarantee me first class, but before I got on the radio, I checked. There's 2 seats available, and I'm number 1 on the list. So if nobody nobody pays that $1,000 to fly, then I will get the first class. But that's besides the point. So I had to be on the radio show.
But just like Abe was willing to suffer for his cousin, Dad's willing to suffer for this show.
Right.
Wow.
And you.
And me.
So guys, take me back. I mean, I always felt like we have like a connection because we're all Long Island folks, and I've been to the shop years ago when I lived on the island in Great Neck. But tell me, Arielle, from your perspective, back in 2009, you guys did a collaboration, right? This is kind of how this whole thing started. So tell us about that story. What was the collaboration? What led to you guys starting the brand?
Yeah, so I always say that like the cigar industry was just a happy accident for me. I mean, it really was. It was. I grew up with my grandfather smoking cigars and pipes, my father smoking cigars and pipes, but I didn't think anything of it except that I actually liked the smell. You know how some people are like they have negative, memories of smells. For me, it was always people that I loved. So I always enjoyed it, unless it's a bad cigar, and then it's like, ooh, can I switch that for you? But so when I got into the cigar industry, it was really just to hang out with my dad. It was because I loved being in the room with other cigar smokers, the stories they tell, and like the camaraderie. I just thought that was so cool. And from that, we met Renee Castaneda, who at the time was the vice president of Miami Cigar and Company with Nestor Miranda. And he hired me for my first paid cigar gig, which was to, cut and light cigars at an event. And the only requirement was that I didn't mind cigar smoke. So I passed that. But what happened was at my first event, I was like, this is so boring. I don't want to just stand here and cut and light cigars. I want to talk to people. So like, can you teach me about the cigars? This is at my first event ever. After that first event, I became the person like pushing the cigars at the event. I was helping, the men and the women who were looking to buy a new cigar, try a new cigar, find the blend that I thought would be right for them and the size that they might, gear towards. And I just loved it. And what Renee had noticed was it was the first time that generally a young woman was selling cigars in the humidor, and it was working. Like, people liked it. They thought it was cool. They weren't just talking to another guy. And he's like, right. So he's like, you seem to love it. You seem to be passionate about it. This is like fast forward a year. At this point, my dad's very smart. When he sees that I'm interested in something, he takes me there. So, when I was 13, my family took me to Israel. It grew my passion for Israel and Judaism. When he saw that I was into cigars, he took me to Honduras. We went to the Camacho factory with Christian Aurora, and I watched cigars being made, the entire process, and that was it for me. I was hooked. You guys have all been there. It's life-changing. I can't explain to someone a product that is 100% made by hand. It was the coolest thing I'd ever seen. That's where I had my first cigar ever. Then I started smoking.
Oh, good. That was my next question. So were you nervous with your first cigar? Because how old were you? You were somewhat older, at least from
22,
like when people
23.
start smoking cigars.
Yeah.
Were you nervous?
I was.
Like that you might not like it?
I was nervous that I wouldn't like it, and I was also nervous because everyone's like, don't inhale. I don't smoke anything that I have to inhale. So they were like, don't inhale. I'm like, what does that even mean? If it's too much, you might get sick. The beautiful thing though about the guys that I was with no one said, "Oh, you're a girl. Why don't you try a flavored cigar?" Because I think that would have just been like a
Right.
turn off for me. It was like, let's just start with like a lighter cigar, more of like an earthy flavor instead of a spicy flavor. But so I was a little nervous, and there was a big crowd, and they were all looking at me. There's a little bit of a funny
God.
story that one of my dad's old business partners turned down a cigar at Christian Aurora's factory and was never invited back. So I was like, I knew when I was going on this trip that I was smoking this trip.
Right. You had to.
I gotta tell you, you know, that your requirement for your first job, even though it was only one requirement, that's not a small requirement. I can't tell you how many times we've hired bartenders. You gonna be okay with the smoke? Oh yeah, no problem. A week later, they come back. They're like, I can't do it. I'm sorry. I just can't deal with the smoke. So it's a single requirement, but it's not a small one. You really got to be able to deal with it.
But I'd spent so much time in the cigar lounge watching games, hanging out, that we knew, thank God, that I was good with that one. Like, check.
You get to the point where you don't even notice it.
Right. So, sorry, that was a long-winded version to say that Renee then came back and said, like, you clearly love this. You're clearly passionate about it in a way that none of us knew when we thought, you know, when you were a college student working events with us. But like, would you be interested? Right. And now at this point, I'm in grad school. I'm getting a dual master's degree at Columbia University in education. And Renee's like, do you want to just start a cigar brand with us? Like, let's go in. It'll be under Miami Cigars. You'll be part of it from the beginning all the way till the end. Like, you get to work on the blends and pick the blends. You get to do the marketing and come up with the name. And I was like, this sounds like the coolest thing I've ever been offered in my entire life. And yes.
Yeah. Wow.
Yes. That's it.
I mean, wow. It's so geez, that's so like such an out there, like from helping to all of a sudden you're now in charge of a brand.
Yep. And it felt like that too.
That blend you guys came up with, that original La Sirena, that broadleaf, and you worked on it with Pepin. That's I still think that's the best broadleaf ever to come out of that factory. It was amazing, that cigar.
Thank you. Oh yeah. And that felt like, because, you know, look, there were a lot of eyes on us, right? This young girl, you know, I got when we first announced it, so many people asked me, are you going to come out with a flavored cigar? And I was like, I don't even smoke. Not that there's nothing wrong with flavored cigars. There are people that love them, but that's not what I smoke. Why would I come out with that? And to work with Pepin and My Father's Cigars, it was a big deal. So I wanted to make sure that it was the right cigar.
It was a bold, spicy. I mean, it was a really good cigar. And I think it really just set the table for you guys for the next, decade after that, for sure.
Thank you. Yeah, Coop has been supporting us from day one. I mean, I feel like if you Google me, we have interviews from when I was, pre-kids.
Yeah.
Now, is your sister still involved in the company? Was it Mariah that we've spoken to in the past?
I can drag her into it. I mean, she still loves it, but she loves it, and she loves like the people aspect for sure. She didn't quite get the bug for the cigars in terms of the way that they're made, but you know why? She probably hasn't been to the factory yet. We should probably fix that, Dad. That might be really, because that's for me when it all came together. I think every single person needs to, at one point in their life, if you are even interested in cigars, you need to go to a cigar factory. My kids now, they're young, but I will tell you that when we went into a steakhouse to use the bathroom on our walk, through Manhattan, they had to use the bathroom. So we went. It was a steakhouse. It was not a cigar bar, but there was one guy sitting outside smoking a cigar, and they're like, "Are we at Poppy's store?" Like, they think of cigars the same way that I grew up thinking of cigars.
That was me too. My grandfather always smoked cigars, and I loved that smell. It was the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
But Danny, you've been in the business for a long time too. So, I mean, Tobacco Plaza in Great Neck. I mean, how long did the kids grow up just, smelling that smell because you had the store?
Well, not really. Well, first of all, Tobacco Plaza is celebrating our 50th anniversary this year, and it was started by my partner Marshall Holman, and I was in construction my whole life with my father and my brother, and then when my dad passed away 19 years ago now is when I bought in and went into the cigar business. I retired from construction and went into the cigar business, and so they smelled cigars from my brother, my father, me smoking, and back in the day, my father smoked in the house. You know, there was no, you know, you need a separate room or you need this, or you need
Right.
that. You know, wherever he wanted to be, that's where he was. So, I mean, and it's very funny. So my father's thing, Arielle's is his first grandchild, and you know, you have a cigar in your mouth all the time. And Arielle, my dad would always take Arielle's full hand. My dad was a big guy, 6'4". His hands were like baseball gloves, and he'd take her whole hand in his mouth, and then she smelled like a cigar afterwards. It was very funny, but she grew up with the family smoking, but not in the store. I didn't buy in
Okay.
until 19 years ago.
I'll tell you, I think it might have been even more special for us because, you know, we watched, I mean, I'm speaking for me and my sisters, but for me personally, I watched my dad leave a family business that he had done from the minute that I remember, like my whole memory from childhood was my dad being a contractor and leaving that to go into an industry that he loved. And it was a big change for us. It was a big change for us financially. It was a big change for us with a schedule shift. It was a big change. It was just like, it rocked the family, but I think in such a positive way. Like when your parents, who are your role models ultimately, are willing to say, I need to change something and I want to be happy. And really, truly, he would come home happy every day. And he'd be so happy that he'd be hanging out at the cigar store even when he wasn't working, which is how I started hanging out there. Like that's how I was getting daddy time. I was like, oh, you're watching the Yankee game at the shop today? I guess I'm coming guess I'm coming to the shop to watch the game.
Right.
So even though he didn't own the store my whole life, I think, and I'm sure if he did, I would have been in there just even younger. But it was really cool, like as a young adult, watching my dad start his career at the cigar industry. You know, it's special. Like I don't think, you know, now that I'm a parent, you guys too, like now I think about things like that I didn't at the moment. Like it didn't make a huge deal to me, but now I'm like, and I want my girls to do the same thing. Like when I'm like, okay, guys, I need 2 hours play with daddy, and they're watching through the window, like they see me doing something that I love. And I think that's really inspiring for children.
Absolutely. Coop, I didn't mean to cut you off. I'm sure you had a good question.
You know, you were talking about going to the factories, and I think one thing that really has set La Sirena apart is you have partnered with some amazing factories in probably all the non-Cuban countries. I mean, everywhere, you know, talk a little about that, because I think that's something that you guys have just seemed to find the right factories and just getting the right blends out of these factories when you find them.
Yeah. I mean, I'll let my dad really is incredible and a huge part of that. He is such a great palate, but I do think that I've inherited a little bit of that. But I do think that really what it comes down to, and you're right, we are so lucky, right? But it's friendships. So the people that we work with, they're our friends. So it doesn't feel like work. You know, sometimes when my husband or my mom is like, you're going back to the Dominican, we're like, yeah, work trip, guys, we have to go. It doesn't feel like work. And so we really have been so blessed to work with incredible people because they become our family. I mean, when I first started in the cigar industry, before I even had La Sirena, Raquel and Pachi Casada said, oh, you're coming for the Dominican Pro Fest? I want you to stay for a month afterwards and like live with us. I lived with them and watched them work. And I mean, I think I ended up staying for 2 weeks with them in their home. I mean, they're sisters. They're just incredible people. And so when we were like, we wanted a full-bodied Dominican cigar, it made sense that we would do it with Casada and create the Oceana. You know, the Merline cigar, working with Guillermo Leon from La Aurora. He's Miami Cigars. That's where I started. So it was a no-brainer. I mean, I worked with Manny, his master blender. Like he gave me lessons on how to smoke cigars and taste cigars and private one-on-one lessons on what I should be tasting, what I should be looking for. You know, one of the first cigar events I ever did at Cigar Inn in Manhattan was a Miami cigar, My Father cigar hybrid. So I was selling the Miami cigars on this corner, and we were selling the My Father cigars on this corner. So the fact that I got to work with, the Garcia family to create my first blend, it's special. And then now working with the La Zona factory, it's just, and Plasencia, because I'm sure we'll get to that, but I bought the blend that my dad's old company had, because I was like, that's the best light cigar I've ever had in my entire life, and I need it. And I had already loved the Plasencias because of the Casadas, and they introduced me. And it's really so beautiful that this industry, while everyone's sort of, I guess, competitors in a sense. Everyone's really family.
Yeah.
This is a unique world. I can't explain it to people. You guys get it. But when I say it to other people, they're like, okay, cool. I don't get it, you know?
Arielle,
No, that's awesome.
That first event also, which brings in Eric, it was Eric and Eddie. They were, under being distributed by Miami Cigars. So that event, you had Eric and Eddie there, you had Renee there, Albert from Cigar Rings was there, which is a big connection for us because all our bands are made of cigar rings. But Arielle made the first one when she was with Miami, where we partners with Nestor, and that's where the La Sirena original band came from. And most of our bands were a takeoff from that. So it was a real major connection. But so you had Eric and Eddie, Eric who now makes La Sirena original, and Albert who makes the bands, and but that's where it started. But Arielle, tell the story of how you came up with the name of your company.
Same thing, just hanging out, right? We were just hanging out. It was a bunch of us. We were at what was it, Club? It was Club Macanudo in Manhattan after, a weekend of working together. We were all just having dinner and a cigar and a drink, and everyone was talking Spanish around me. And unfortunately, I don't speak Spanish. God, I'm just not great with languages. I've tried. But everyone was speaking Spanish, and I was like, I just looked next to me and I was like, hey, how do you say mermaid in Spanish? And I think it was Jorge looked at me and he's like, La Sirena. And I was like, oh my gosh, yes. And I wrote it on a cocktail napkin and I passed it 3 people down to Nestor and Renee. And that was it.
Very cool. Well, guys,
Danny,
we want to talk about what's.
We'll go. Hold just
we got 2 minutes.
I was going to talk about the bands.
Okay.
Yeah, because the one thing I'm making, those bands, you guys put big bands on the map when that came out. I mean, you were really the first to put the big bands on the map. So,
yeah.
And what I loved is how you put the underband under it. So, like, you took off that big band, but you still had something to smoke under that thing. So,
Coop,
I think you guys were game changers there.
We added that second band. That's
right. You added it later. That's right. Yes.
Yeah, because when we created the band, I have to be honest, another happy accident. We created it. We loved it. We didn't know that it was true to size when we were getting the mock-ups. So it came out and we were like, wow. And, in some of our Corona sizes, you have to take that band off pretty early on.
Yeah. Yeah.
And people were then saying, but then we don't, no one knows what we're smoking while we're smoking it. And that's when we added the second band.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but this was like Paul before big band. No one was really doing. I think I don't want to say they would. I believe they were one of the first, if not the first, to do that because you just didn't see big bands back in 2009, 2010.
I would take Coop's word for it with that. With the historical data, he's usually the correct one.
Rumors not facts.
Well, cool. So
right.
Yeah, exactly. No teasers, no rumors. Yeah. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna take a short break and come back, talk about, we talked about the beginning. We want to talk about what's going on now. And we have some great cigars from you guys we want to talk about. Then we're going to also play the Name That Jam game with from Alva Cigars. We're going to do Would You Rather. You guys, Coop and Alex, after taking a week off, we're going to do Tale of the Tape as well. So we got a lot more coming up on KMA Talk Radio after the break. And now this is hard introducing it and being the one to actually play the commercial at the same time. All right, here we go. We'll be right back. Keep it lit.
Honest Abe here to tell you about a pretty badass event we got coming up this May 25th at 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. That's right, it's going to be me, Honest Abe, against the man from Miami, the Burger Beast. We are going to have a Camacho Bold Burger battle. That's right, we're going to do this both virtually and live in the store. We have 50 tickets for 50 who can come to the shop here in Boynton Beach at our headquarters and watch me and the Burger Beast grill it off. You'll get a sample of my burger and his burger, and you get to be the judge. See whose burger's better. All you have to do is buy one of our Camacho Bold Burger Battle kits. This is a 5-pack of Camacho cigars, along with a Coconut Cartel rub pack. It's got a gourmet oinks bacon in it, and a pretty cool hype kit that comes with it. We send that to your house along with a little mini bottle of Coconut Cartel rum, and you'll get to watch from home as we do this event live. Those attending the event live in person will get that same kit, but instead they'll get the coconut rum tasting in the store and be able to sample our burgers, my burger and the Burger Beast burgers, and you can tell us who makes the better burger. We also got 2 big raffle giveaways, one for the live attendees and one for the virtual. The live attendees will have a 1 in 50 chance of winning this epic M6 grill, solid steel grill. This grill has a $900 value, and for the 100 people who get tickets, will be watching at home with your Camacho Gold Burger Battle kits, you'll have a 1 in 100 chance to win a 1-year premium meat subscription from Climax Wagyu Farm. Pretty cool event for all. Tickets are on sale right now. Go to smokein.com and see who wins the Camacho Gold Burger Battle.
The H Oven, Nicaragua by AJ Fernandez. The original versus the heritage. What's the difference between the two? The H Oven, Nicaragua, AJ Fernandez heritage. The story of AJ Fernandez, coming from Cuba, raised by his grandmother out there, has a lot of love for the country, but also he loves tobacco. And he loves his new area where he bought his farm called Finca La Lilia, named after his grandmother, Farm of Lily. So he's got the love of tobacco, he's got the love of Cuba, and he's got the love of Nicaragua. Let's put them all together. So that tells the story of this triple fermented Brazilian Matafina wrapper and AJ estate grown Nicaraguan binders and fillers, creating a beautiful array of some sweetness, soft leather, a little bit of spice, with nice aroma notes of black pepper and earth tones. We hope you go out and enjoy this one, that it really tells the story of AJ, his love of Cuba, Nicaragua, and H Oven. So please go out and try one. I think you'll thoroughly enjoy it. H Oven, Nicaragua, AJ Fernandez heritage.
Commercial time.
Oh, God. Oh, how nice to see you here when I'm sleeping. You know, honestly, Abe likes originality. He doesn't like repeats. And I like to sleep with a glass of Bonner Private Wines next to my bed so that when I wake up in a cold sweat because I forgot to do something for him, I have it here to relax myself. It really is good wine. See, Bonner Private Wines is a partner with KMA Talk Radio, and that means they're a partner with you. You can try any of their wines by going to KMAWines.com. You can try their 3-pack wine sampler. You can also try one of my favorites, Sunal. It's from the 3rd highest vineyard, altitude-wise, in the world, 8,950 feet. And it's delicious, goes well with a great cigar. So check it out. And I'm going to go back to sleep, and hopefully Abe will not yell at me today. But first I'm going to finish this. Okay, you guys can go now. Okay. You don't see the teddy bear, right?
No.
Okay. That's all I need. Wow, look how fat I was in that promo, man. I can't hear you, Alex.
You have to talk like that's how I felt watching a commercial. I can't hear you, Paul. You gotta talk louder, man.
I had kids.
Whispered
that was
by
in my
Paul.
old house, and my kids' rooms like surrounded our bedroom, and I was just terrified to wake them up. You know how
Were
it
you
is once they go to
topless?
sleep. Was I topless? No, I was wearing a Clyde Mays shirt.
Paul, how long ago did you move?
We moved into the new build in November, but we moved out of our house in September because things were so delayed. We were like 7 months
So
delayed.
we're on 8 or 9 months back of reruns of the commercial.
Oh, it's probably further than that. I mean, you see, I was like 50 pounds heavier then. I'm looking at myself cringing. I couldn't take it. But all right, let's bring our guests back on. Arielle and Danny. There they are. Danny's
I wanna get
chilling
this
in his hotel.
I want to get this in real quick, Paul.
Yeah.
It's fitting that we actually have Coop, as things would have it, on the show for the whole show today. This picture I found, Coop, this is almost 10 years to the date. You uploaded this picture on May 12th 2012.
That's when we interviewed Arielle at Outland Cigars.
Wow.
This is almost 10 years to the date.
Oh my gosh.
When was this? Was where? What was that for? That was
We this was one of the
KMA?
early cigar. No, this was an early Cigar Coop interview before we even had the podcast. We were just we did a YouTube interview with Arielle. She was doing an event at Outland Cigars, which is a store in Charlotte that's not there anymore. But they had gone. They brought La Sirena in, and they had a mobile RV, I believe. That was a mobile RV, and we did the interview in that mobile RV. That right? That's
cool.
2012 at least, maybe
Coop,
older.
it says uploaded May 10th, 2012. It's almost 10 years.
There you
to the
go.
date.
Wow, that's
Wow.
amazing. Yeah,
Coop, you had a little bit more hair there. I'm not gonna lie.
I had a lot more
I know
hair
the
there.
feeling.
I mean, I had a lot more hair. I did. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
So,
that was a
guys,
good event. Yeah.
Were you
Yeah, it
wearing
doesn't
the same
feel like
outfit?
London though. I know. I'm usually. I mean, always a purple. You know.
Was that the boat event weekend too? Was because I know we did an event on the lake out
I
there.
don't think that was. I think that was a different time. I remember
You're right,
the
because that was
I
I think in the
remember
fall.
the
I think that was
RV.
a fall event. Yeah, that was the RV. Yeah.
Yeah, I remember the RV because it was cool. Like we were sitting at like a kitchen table, I guess, in the RV.
Yeah.
Like it's where
Yep.
I think it was one of my first like live interviews too.
It was one of my first too. I mean,
Yeah.
because we didn't even have a regular podcast back then. So yeah, this was it was very early on.
You guys were the guinea pigs for the Cigar Hyphen.
And I think if you look at it, there's a lot of hits on the video too. It's still one of the most watched YouTube videos we have. So
I want to
it's
go
been out
back and
there.
watch it now. I don't think I've ever seen that one. I'll have to watch it tonight. So guys, we want to get back to talking about La Sirena, but first we have Name That Jam, brought to you by our friends at Avo Cigars. And we're going to play you a very brief clip, of a song. And we're going to ask you to name the name of the song and the artist. And of course, the KMA listeners will help, but
Yes,
we don't
please
have
help.
a great track record right now. But I think Alex picked a good one for this week. So let's hit it. Dude, I don't know about anyone else, but I think we have the best intros to our bits than anybody else out there. Maybe I'm a little biased, but they're so cool.
They're
And you
great.
guys see these mugs.
Was that the intro? Because I didn't know
that was the intro. That was not
when
the
you
tune.
started. I'm going.
Yeah.
It's cool. I like it, but I don't know what it is.
That was the intro. Here's the clip, and I can play it again if you need it. So here we go. Get ready.
If
You gotta
like
be kidding.
All right.
You like pina coladas
coladas
and walking in the
and
rain.
getting caught in the rain. But Dad,
Do you
who
know
sings
who
it?
the artist is?
Dad, who
But I
sings
get
it?
high on cocaine. Yeah, right. Okay.
Who sings it? Who sings it? Is it Jimmy
Oh,
Buffett?
I know-
No.
No,
Nope.
Arielle, that's
Hold on.
What?
that's not Weird Al.
No, it's not.
It's a
weird.
one-hit wonder. It's a one-hit
Hold on.
wonder.
We might need help from the viewers. We got the song. Now we got to get the artist.
Who knows the wow, I got a lot of different artists.
We got it right
He's a
answer from
one-hit
one of the
wonder.
viewers.
This is a tough
We
one.
got a right answer from one of the viewers.
Yeah, okay. Well, let's take a look. I'll give it to you guys as a win because you knew what it was, but let's see who the artist is.
If you like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain, if you're not into yoga, if you have half a brain.
Rupert
good
Holmes.
one.
The only reason why I knew that is because I used to work at a classic rock station. I used to DJ, and thank God they had the names of all the songs and pronunciations of people's names because I had no clue. And that song's not even technically called the Pina Colada song.
Right.
It's called Escape, which it says on there,
Yep.
but that's how the hell would you know that? So, all right, you guys name that jam
You're
presented by
part of a
Avo
select
Cigars.
few, a select few that actually got it right.
We missed
We're
we
probably-
missed the artist, but we sang it. So it's like cancels each other out.
I'm all right with it.
because it plays and I can still see you in the background. We can see you on the body. You started jamming right away. She knew it.
Yeah,
immediately.
she was rocking out to it. So you guys have named that jam presented by Avo Cigars, our good friends at Avo. And what's Abe's line? Seamlessly blending cigars and music for many years and generations. That's what he says all the time.
Well,
So
now let me ask you a question: is the reason Avo was a sponsor for that is because Avo was a pianist and a songwriter, and he wrote a very famous song? Arielle, do you know what song he wrote?
No, but I feel like I was at an event once and I was very lucky, and it was. Don't correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I think it might have been like his birthday or someone's birthday, and he performed like a song, and it was the cool. It was, and he was, definitely 80s, 90s back then, right? Like it was very cool. It was very cool.
Yeah, Avo was a great
Coop,
man.
do you know the name of the song?
Yep, it's a very famous song by very famous. Was performed by very famous artist. Frank Sinatra performed it. "Strangers of the Night."
Oh my God, I did not know that. There's
a little there was a little controversy if he actually did it or not, but I think all the evidence points to the fact he did write it. But there was some people who disputed that. Yeah.
Wow.
But he and he was Avo, and I've talked to Avo about it. Very proud of that song. Yeah. And he would sing it at his birthdays, or events. He would play the piano and he'd sing that song, or play that song. Yeah.
Wow. I did not know that. I mean, I knew that he did events and played pianos. Abe had him at his shop outside and did an event where he played, but famously, obviously, was a pianist. But yeah, that's why though, Danny. They keep that heritage alive, and we thought it was a natural thing for them to be the sponsor, and they agreed. So it was cool for us to have them on board.
Hey,
but we want to get back to
Paul. Quick question: did Raphael get the tune right? Because I know Raphael was on last week. He's a music guy. Did he get the jam right last week?
He got the band. He didn't get the tune.
The name.
Okay.
Yeah, he didn't get the name.
I'm a little surprised on that one because he's usually pretty good on that. Yeah.
But we were a little harder on him because he's a musician himself.
Yeah.
So we were, during COVID, he really shined with his Facebook Lives playing the piano.
I know.
For hours on end.
Yeah.
So we gave him a little bit more of a hard time for not knowing it. But Alex, to Alex's credit, he's been picking songs kind of based on the guests that he thinks they might be into. So I guess he thought Danny and Arielle would love the Pina Colada song, I guess.
He was correct.
Well, I was really hoping for a Billy Joel song.
Oh man, you and me both, my friend.
Long Island.
They give me a hard time here.
I have to tell you, I thought we were going to go in the Disney direction. I was automatically going to be like Little Mermaid from Disney.
No, that's if Paul was doing the name that jam too. They would all
if I picked it would always be Disney. We've got a bit coming up where we're gonna do like a Disney pick thing. I don't know if Alex is gonna join in because he's so anti-Disney these days, but we're planning a little. I'm a Disney freak, so. But funny about Billy Joel, Danny, I always joke about it. We see him at the shop quite a bit because he has a home down here. But he just bought in my neighborhood. I mean, obviously in the nicer part of town. But my wife and I have seen him like 3 or 4 times now at like stoplights riding on his motorcycle down here. So I'm always like, hey. He never. I mean, I've met him a bunch of times through friends that worked for him over the years. He never remembers me, but he's always very nice. He's like, hey, how you doing? All right, get the hell away from me.
He's been a long time customer of ours, man. Always the nicest guy when he comes in.
Yeah. He's my friend worked for him for years.
He's an Ashton smoker, I believe.
Ashton, and he likes his back rats.
Okay.
We got to get him a La Sirena.
Yeah.
Yeah, seriously.
We'll tell him a Long Island girl created this cigar. Come on.
Yeah. Paul, come on, Paul.
I'll talk to him. He'll like the North Shore girl vibe. He likes his North Shore girls. So
don't tell him I started on the South Shore. Don't tell him that.
Okay. I didn't know that. So I want to talk a little bit about like fast forwarding to today with La Sirena. I think the last time I saw Danny in person, I think was at one of the Lazona Paloozas, and you had given me a cigar. I think it would have been it would have been the 10th anniversary, I think. So you guys in what was it, 2019 celebrated 10 years?
Yep.
So let's talk about that cigar and the iteration of that cigar now that you guys have.
Okay, so
before he starts, this was so cool because I didn't know he was doing it, and it's the only cigar that I had no hand in whatsoever because it was a surprise. So I didn't have a
Oh,
hand
I
in the
didn't know that.
blend. I didn't have a hand in the design. Like a little bit of the design with the new part, but okay, go Dad.
Right.
Okay. So anyway, very interesting story. I've been introduced to Alejandro Tarrant many, many years ago from, again, Renee Castaneda. And Renee wanted to hook me up with him, and he wanted to make a cigar for La Sirena. And I always had a vision of what I wanted to do. And of course, part of the vision was his wrapper. I mean, anyone that doesn't know Alejandro Tarrant's family is in the San Andreas Valley of Mexico, and they have the best San Andreas wrapper and tobacco in Mexico. So the only problem was that my vision of the cigar I wanted to do had Brazilian Matafino in it, Nicaraguan.
Lost him.
Did we lose it? He'll come right back. I think he's having connection
I'm
issues
sorry.
there.
Am I back? Okay, I'm sorry.
Oh, there he is.
So
he had to answer a message.
Yeah, I heard the text message come through.
Yeah.
I don't know what it was. Anyway, so I said to Alejandro, my vision is this. And at the time in Mexico, you could only use Mexican tobacco in Mexico to make a cigar. And then 2 or 3 years later, Mexico changed the ruling on that, or however it worked. And I called Alejandro. I said, listen, I'm ready to make that cigar with you. And he said, great. Because at this time, besides knowing Alejandro, I brought in his cigars to the shop. Anything he made, I was bringing in. He came to do a couple of events. He brought his tequila, and it was great events, great cigars. So he flew me down to Mexico, and I had the best weekend, 4 or 5 day weekend, whatever it was. It was fabulous, and we worked together in Mexico blending the cigar. I smoked about 50 fumas of all different tobaccos that I wanted to use, and there was some crazy Brazilian tobacco he brought in for me, but the Mexican tobacco, he brought in the ugliest piece of tobacco you ever wanted to see. And I thought it was one of the best tasting tobaccos I ever smoked in the fuma. So we use that in the filler. We use Brazilian Matafino in the filler. We use Nicaraguan Lajero in the filler. And we use the San Andreas Maduro wrapper and a San Andreas Maduro binder. And I actually made the band also with Cigar Rings, Ostos, when he was working with Cigar Rings after he left Casada. And again, it wasn't the band that Arielle would have used because I went a smaller band, but I put a mermaid in the water with Arielle's initials on it, AFD, and it was called the 10th anniversary or an anniversary especial. You got one there, sweetie?
I do, but there's this weird background. You can't really see it. I'll have to send you guys a picture.
Oh yeah.
See it?
I have a picture. Yeah. I'm gonna post it.
Right.
Okay. So Arielle really didn't approve of the band. She was not happy with it.
It wasn't zhuzhy enough for me. That's all.
But the cigar was fabulous.
But the blend I approved of, and that was more important. So
yeah, it was a limited production. It sold out really, really fast and well received. And there's the box. Yeah, I made a purple box for Arielle.
Very cool.
So I went to Alejandro. I said, listen, and we used a 10-year-old San Andreas Maduro wrapper that he only had enough wrapper to make what he made for the blend. We found some crazy stuff in his factory, and he, full out, he helped us tremendously. He made me that weekend. He made me 10 blends out of the tobacco I picked, but different, and then we narrowed it down to 5, and then he sent me 10 more cigars of the 5 blends, narrowed it down to 3, and then I let Arielle smoke with me those 3 blends and other people in the industry and in the company, and we ended up picking out the blend that we liked, and it did great. So then I approached Alejandro after we sold out, and I think we sold out of everything in like 2 or 3 months. I think I have 3 boxes left. and one of the boxes has a wrapper of, I think, my first grandson that was born. So I used a different La Sirena cigar for every grandchild I have, and we make custom bands for that. The cigars were made already. We just changed the band with the picture and the name and the date of my grandchildren. So I have a nice collection of different cigars with those bands on it. And I approached Alejandro. I said, "Listen, the cigar was great. It was expensive for La Sirena. It was limited, and that worked out okay. But I said I'd like to use that blend and make a regular production cigar." And he said, "Great, I'd love to do it." And then he got tied up working on projects for Europe and everything else and his own stuff, and he couldn't do it with us. So I asked him, "Can I use your tobacco, and can I make it with someone else?" And with the blend. But we instead of a 10-year-old San Andreas Maduro wrapper, the Mexican Mermaid has a 5-year-old San Andreas Maduro wrapper. Instead of a 5-year-old San Andreas Maduro binder, we used a 3-year-old San Andreas Maduro, because obviously people know the older the leaves are and everything else, the more expensive it costs to buy it. It's limited. It's harder to get, and so we want to bring the price down to, as an everyday production, a normal price in today's market, which is crazy as it is, how the prices have gone up tremendously. And so he helped me out in that respect. But now, who do we use to make the cigar? And lucky enough, Ostos Fernandez, who we blended the Oceana with, and who's a Casada and a good friend, he opened up a factory a year plus in January. So it's going to be almost 2 years this coming January. And I said, Ostos, he actually, well, when I had the vision of the Mexican Mermaid, I called Ostos up. And at the time, he said to me, I was calling him for the band. In my mind, I had a band to die for. And I called him up. I said, because he was working with Cigar Rings. He said, "Danny, I left Cigar Rings 2 months ago, and I'm opening up my own factory in a couple of months." I said, "This is perfect." I said, "Okay, well, I'll call and make the bands with Albert again." Ostos wasn't there. But I said, "You want to make the cigar?" "I'd love to." So, we got the tobacco, and I went down to the Dominican Republic, and we started blending with Ostos. I was actually down there with Freddie that weekend, and who else was with? The guy from the guy shop. I forget what. Anyway, my age is showing. But so we were there that weekend. We discussed it. He brought in the tobaccos. I went back a couple of weeks later. I do go to the Dominican once a month for business, and it really is business the first 2 days. And then after being down in the Dominican Republic so often, I bought a place in Puerto Plata where we go all the time, and the family goes there in December. It's not a timeshare, but it's a membership place. So
yeah,
we get to use it as often as we want. We don't pay a fee, maintenance fee, but we pay every time we use it at a discounted rate. And I go there a lot with my family, with my wife. So, and if I'm doing business in Dominican Republic, after 2 days, I go to the beach for 3 days because I have to smoke all the blends. So it's a nice place.
You got us. Listen, man. Yeah. So it's made at Tabacalera La Isla, right? The Mexican Mermaid.
Yep, 100%. Ostos did a fabulous job. He's doing a fabulous job with Warp and all the other companies. And the cigar was highly rated. We got a 95 in Cigar and Spirits magazine. We got the number one new boutique release of the year and the number 2 boutique cigar company of the year because of the Mexican Mermaid this past year in Cigars and Spirits. And the cigar is really,
Coop liked it
really,
too, right?
Yeah, it did very well. It's definitely contention for top 25 this year.
we got a 90 in Cigar Coop. He rated it and loved it.
Yeah, yep.
And the cigar is doing really well. And
And you
With
can get
that-
it. You can get it at Smoke Inn, right? The next
Yeah.
2 days, there's a special going on.
Well, so that's good to mention because we can see. Look, Arielle, she's got her. She's on the ball. I'm struggling here to keep up with all the editing stuff. But actually, since you mentioned that, we have a special for the next 2 days at smokein.com. 15% off La Sirena cigars. Use offer code KMA15. Go to smokein.com to try these cigars. I've smoked a ton of them, a bunch of which Danny has given me himself when I've met him in person, and you're gonna enjoy them, believe me. But so that's a cool story about how you kind of like took that special cigar and made it into a regular production, because obviously you wouldn't have been able to get the tobacco, the 10-year age tobacco all the time, I guess.
Right.
I was muted. Sorry. I was muted. They were also just in the last cigar of the month pack as well.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And what's really cool about this,
does Paul not hear me? I'm talking. Now I know why I was muted.
what's really cool about this, Brenda, the different expressions with the sizes you'll get, so the box press Toro, the Robusto, it's really cool to smoke those different sizes as well.
And of course, we made a Lonsdale for Arielle.
That's what I'm. Yep. That's why I'm able to do an entire interview with one cigar. Yeah, no, it's really nice.
Well,
and I would,
cool.
if any of our listeners and Smoke Inn customers, if you give it a try, like shoot us a line on our social media, let us know what you think. We love to hear from you guys. So
Yeah. The cigar was in Abe's box. Isn't that different than his monthly cigar club?
So this was in the cigar of the month, not the Connoisseur Club.
Okay.
These are the 5 cigars that Abe picks every month to ship out.
Okay.
And it just went out.
Yeah, that he personally selects.
Last one.
Yeah. So on the Smoking website, and I don't know if the 15% is just for the Mexican Mermaid or all the blends, but on the Smoking website you have La Sirena Original, which is made by Eric Espinoza at the La Zona factory. You have the La Sirena LT, which is Arielle's personal favorite that she stole from my other company.
bought from your other company.
And that's made at the Placencia factory in Honduras. And then you have the Oceana, which was the blend we did with Ostos when he was with Casada. And he was the master blender there, although we were working with Manny and Ostos together, and Arielle was working with the girls. So, like I said, it is a family affair at Casada, and that's the best part about the business, that we just work with friends that help us out, that want us to do well.
Yeah, that's pretty cool. And it's all, Alex, it's all La Sirena cigars, correct? On the website this weekend?
Yes, all La Sirena cigars.
So it's any of
Boxes
those.
and 5-packs.
Try them all.
Yep, definitely.
Very cool. So we are at that time in the show where, actually, no, before we do that, what is next, guys? Through all this craziness in the world in the last couple of years, are there new blends on the horizon? Have you been working on new projects? Should we expect new projects? What's next for La Sirena?
Well, so the actual next thing coming out in September is a new size in the Mexican Mermaid. It's going to be a 54 by 4 inches. We have gotten a lot of requests in the East Coast for a smaller cigar. And some people call it a nub. I don't know if that fits under the nub size. It's just a short, but a nice ring gauge 54. So it's,
Like you guys down in Florida don't need it, but we call it the winter size down here.
No, listen,
right, you gotta walk the dog. You get 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But it's the same thing here in July and August. You want to go outside and smoke a cigar.
That's the hot size right
cigar.
now, man. That's the hot size.
So the interesting part about that project is we're doing 50 count boxes, which obviously brings the price down because 20 count boxes, you got to divide the box by 20. Here you divide the box by 50, and also, obviously, it will not have the La Sirena Mexican Mermaid band on it. It will only have the secondary band that's under the Mexican Mermaid band, because the band itself
wouldn't even fit. Right?
Big, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
So.
So the band itself would be the size of the cigar, I guess.
Exactly. Yes.
Well, cool. So we'll look for that. We don't want you to go anywhere, guys, but these two boys here started a segment on our show, kind of originally, like kind of hijacking the show.
Don't we
but
have news
it's
first?
turned into
Don't we have news first?
Oh yeah, I guess we got to get to Coop's news.
We have the
Thanks for
scoop.
helping me. So I lied. Coop is gonna hijack. We're gonna do Coop's the scoop with Coop.
Hey, yo, what's my theme music?
The Scoop with Coop. Breaking industry news. Hear it first on KMA Talk Radio and cigar-coop.com.
Oh man, I'm all over the place today.
That's okay. These are a couple of stories. These are a few stories that have kind of happened over the last couple of weeks, but I think they're interesting stories as opposed to wrapper, binder, filler, right? So, first thing is Hammer and Sickle Cigars, which is a brand that I want to say had a lot more traction in the East, particularly the Northeast, has shut down. The company basically has liquidated their inventory, and they shut down. And much of this came as a result of the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. And when that invasion happened, various states, they started putting pressure on companies that had Russian branded products to be removed from the shelves. And this certainly impacted Hammer and Sickle's business. So
Right.
what has happened is they've liquidated the company. Dave Garofalo of Two Guys Cigar Shop has bought the remaining inventory. And then 3 of the brands were literally fire saled quickly at like a fraction of the cost because they had the Hammer and Sickle, most of the Hammer and Sickle logo on it. Russian logo on it. There's a couple of other brands that don't have that logo that I don't know what's going to happen with them. But the company's out of business as we speak. What's going to happen with the brand is an interesting thing as well. And that was always a controversial brand because of the Hammer and Sickle. And they kind of always took the approach that they didn't have the star. You know, they weren't using the communist star, but it from day one, that was always good cigars. Made it, they were making a lot of cigars out of Davidoff, but the branding was just always, I know it was always controversial, particularly in the Southeast. It was polarizing. So no more Hammer and Sickle.
And actually Dave Garofalo had a cool promo I saw for Two Guys where he said, "Let's burn the bands because the cigars are great.
Yeah,
just burn the bands."
Now it's a genius move by him because if he's going to own these trademarks and things change in the world in the next few, he's going to be sitting on these brands. So it'll be interesting to see. He probably got them at a good price, is what I'm saying. So it will be interesting. He's got other lines. There's like a Berlin Wall line and stuff. I don't know what he's going to do with that, but they're the Russian ones. He definitely just said burn the band on those and smoke them. They were good cigars. They were very good cigars.
He always thinks of.
Yeah. I mean, just
but
not
I'll
a
say
good time. I guess,
Davidoff
to have a
did
Hammer
well for
and
them.
Sickle on your cigar.
No, and I mean, look, they have a vodka business too. It affected their vodka business. Their vodka was really good vodka, but like I said, there were governors saying this stuff had to be removed from the shelves. Apparently, retailers were pushing back. They didn't want to keep this stuff on the shelf. And Hammer and Sickle had gone through a lot of turmoil. Their owner passed away a few years ago, so I think they were kind of struggling since he did that, and ultimately it led to the company shutting down.
Yeah, vodka was like the first thing. Everybody was, no Russia. Poor Stoli. By the way, everyone, Stoli vodka is made in Latvia. It's not made in Russia.
Right.
But poor Stoli got
Stoli,
a bad
yeah,
rap when
I
this all
know.
started.
Well,
I know, but
they did good with their PR though. They basically said that it hadn't been made in Russia for what 20 years or 30 years or something like that. So
no. So we
what
shall
else
see.
you got, Coop?
All right. Sticking to politics. Eddie Tarazona, who was a guest on KMA Talk Radio over the last few months, has announced he is running for the U.S. House of Representatives, which I thought was kind of interesting. So he has filed paperwork with the Federal Election Commission, and he's planning on running as a Republican candidate right now in the 18th District of Florida. And I guess Florida, you guys would know more about this than me. There was a major redrawing of the districts that happened over the last few months. So I don't know.
I read about it. I know very little about it.
Yeah, and I guess he's going to be running against a I guess he's going to have to challenge the incumbent, who's now a guy by the name of Scott Franklin, who is, so he's the incumbent. That's not going to be easy. But it's always interesting to see when a cigar industry person gets into the political realm. We saw it with Jose Oliva. We've seen it with like Todd Johnson up in North Carolina, is in the state Senate up there. Typically what I see with this is if they win, it's not like they're waving the flag, helping us with. They're usually focused on a lot of other stuff. So
right.
I wouldn't ever look at if he win. I think Eddie's got a long shot here because I think he's up against a well-financed incumbent right now. So, but nonetheless, it's interesting to see anyone in the cigar industry do this. So
Eddie was
Going
an
into
interesting
politics.
guest.
yes, we'll leave it at that. Yes, I was on that show that day. But I don't know what's going to happen if he does win. What happens to his cigar company at all? So, he was like red hot last year. Not red hot. He was doing a lot last year, and now it kind of seems like he's stepped back a bit. So,
okay.
Eddie is not being distributed anymore by the old distributor. He's self-distributing now.
Yes,
that started this week.
I think you guys may have talked to him about that.
Wow. So he's
Wasn't it a
not
while
with
ago?
them anymore. He's not with Sutcliffe anymore.
No.
That ended fast. Yeah.
Huh.
I'd vote for Eddie.
All right.
I'd vote for Eddie. Eddie's son is a pro NFL football player,
Yeah, Logan Thomas.
We talked about it.
Yeah, he was a quarterback, and I think his son became a tight end. He got converted to tight end when he got to the pros.
Well,
anything else, Coop?
Anyone listening, vote for Eddie. Great guy.
Eddie's a nice guy. So last one, and this was like, I think Abe and I were kind of talking about this. Remember Rick Rodriguez announced his retirement from CAO?
Yes.
It lasted 10 days. Okay. So, and we were so he's back. He's got a company called West Tampa Tobacco Company. They've already got blends they're ready to show. They're doing a series of 2 blends called Black and White. And they're both Ecuador and Habano blends, with the black being kind of a bolder expression of that blend. And they're going to be at the trade show. So, boy, 10 days, a lot happened. But he's actually teaming up with a guy by the name of Gus Martinez. Gus was also with General Cigar in their marketing department several years ago. And Gus was always a fixture at trade shows and stuff. So, but yeah, Rick Rodriguez is back. It was a 10-day retirement.
Well,
wow. Well, Abe always says it.
That's very interesting.
Now, listen, it was always strategically worded. It was he retired from CAO. It wasn't just he retired. So there was almost like there was play in there that everybody knew he was coming back in anyway.
Danny, you were going to say something.
Yeah, because I heard, and I'm here in Vegas, and I've seen it. Black and White's not very woke right now. They're taking away black and white chips on the casino floor. So he may have some problems with the name of that company or the cigars.
What about black and white cookies, man?
I had one this morning for my birthday.
Oh my God, amazing!
I used to love those. But yeah, I can see that,
we
Danny.
go up to New York for the summer, and that's the first thing I get: a bagel and a black and white cookie, because they're not the same anywhere else.
Nope.
When I was up in New York, I had this place called Ben's Deli. We were up there for my father's memorial, and there's one down here in Boca that I have to get to. Unbelievable deli.
Oh. Yeah. Oh, the Ben's, the big deli, like it looks like a superstore. It's the giant deli Ben's. Oh yeah.
We went to the one in Bayside. I mean, we were at the hotel, and it was just crazy. So we ended up ordering food, and we just my kids went to town. You want to talk about boys eating? Yeah. You want to talk about
the pickles there and the pastrami there are really good.
Pastrami sandwiches are $20 a sandwich, right?
Yeah, they're not cheap, and they have the kasha knishes, which I just love.
That's something they don't have down here, Coop. Which is weird.
They have it at Ben's. They have it at Ben's. You go to Ben's, though. They have it. Yeah. So,
I think probably we could find them somewhere in Boca, but
I'm going
knishes are something I miss.
Knishes are you cannot. Yeah, knishes are a big miss. I mean, where I am, you can't get them anywhere in the city of Charlotte.
Oh, if you come to New York in the summer, so my parents had a house upstate where we go for the whole summer. I grew up there, and they have this one place. They only come down. They live in Israel. They come down for the summer. They make knishes. They leave. That's it. You have to buy these knishes. They come in like trays. They're this big. we fill up we go like Thursday because we need them for the whole weekend when we have people come over for barbecue.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, you tell us when you're in New York and we will hook you up with the best knishes you will ever have in your entire life.
Oh my God.
I'm in.
We come up for the summer. We'll be there.
Yeah.
We'll be there June and July this year because we cannot take the heat here.
Oh, you'll have
But
to.
wait, so you're doing like an extended summer in New York again?
We're not doing
At
as
the
long as
Hamptons-
we did
at the
during
Hamptons?
COVID. No, we stay in Montauk for a couple of days. We have friends out there.
You
so-
just bought this whole house though, and you're going to be up in New York for like weeks. That's what you did last
Listen,
year.
Coop. Well, we're gonna do like a little more than a month. We did 3 months in the past, but listen, I don't own a place up there. So
Wow.
yeah. I just have to comment on Dan Thompson's comment because
was
this
just
is
about to comment
an
also.
example. Yeah, it's an example of like guys in Texas and Fort
Can you
Worth
pull
area.
up-
He doesn't know
you
what
should
a
pull up
black and white cookie
You should
is.
pull up a picture. Do you have? If not, I can pull one up.
I'm gonna get one.
I have one
I'll get
right
one.
in the kitchen if you need me to go get one.
I think
This is
Alex
a-
can get a picture quicker.
You know, that's something again. That was a staple of going into a bakery in New York and getting a black and white cookie.
Mm-hmm.
They
good,
were-
Dan. Dan, you message me privately and tell me the best one because
definitely,
in West
Dan.
Palm Beach, there's nothing up here.
You got Flakowitz. You got a bunch. There's a bunch of.
Yeah, but they don't taste the
But
same.
that's
Without that New York water.
I would say it's the
There's
water.
a big difference. There's a big,
Brooklyn
you know,
Water Bagel makes them.
Danny, when my sons had the bagels up, and it was, they just said, "Wow, you can't get anything like that outside of New York."
Yeah.
Especially there you go.
There you
That's
go.
a black and white cookie, Dan. Oh.
Okay, so
and they're this big.
Oh yeah, but I
we
need
get
to
into big fights at our house because
Do you eat
my
the black
da-
or the white or
Right.
the middle? And I break off the white.
Yes, he does.
And my wife eats the chocolate, and Arielle hates when I
No,
break off the white.
because I eat them in the middle. So I get a little bit of black and a little bit of white. But then I come back sometimes and there will be 15 blacks left and no
Right.
white to mix it with. But Dad, I want to tell you, Lake this morning. So my oldest daughter's name is Lake. She only ate the black side. So I said, this will be good. You and your poppy can work something out.
Perfect.
Well,
the yin to your yang.
Yep.
There's a bakery that I go to, a bagel shop I go to every Sunday morning to pick up bagels and desserts and lox and everything else. And he now makes all white cookies for me.
Oh wow, you got to
You
get
know
in
you
there.
made it.
Yeah,
You
you got
know
to be
you
in there,
made it.
Danny.
Coop, anything else in the news?
That's it for this week.
All right. Thank you. Go to cigar-coop.com. What else is going on cigar-coop.com? What do you got coming up this week, man?
We have on primetime Thursday night, Luciano Morales of Ace Prime is our guest. And I'll announce it now. It's already been announced, but the following week, June 2nd, Steve Saka is coming on the show. So that will burn the
that's always
midnight
a good
oil.
show.
Yeah, I'm sure he's gonna be cranky at me on some stuff. So I know he's cranky at me on some stuff. So it's gonna be fun with that.
Just
yeah,
in
and
time
then-
for all the people complaining that they can't get one of those soapstone ashtrays, right?
right. Oh, those teasers that he put like 1,000 teasers out on it. But also a big month is June is our PCA coverage month. So we have a bunch of shows. We have 4 shows we dedicated to the PCA. So you definitely stay tuned on that.
So check out cigar-coop.com.
Has
Go ahead,
anybody
Danny.
Lito's ashtrays from his?
I got one. I
have 2. I
And
have.
they,
I have a
Danny,
red-
I got hooked up. I got to be honest with you because they were down at remember we were down at the LaFleur tour. Yeah.
So when we were at the LaFleur tour, Coop, in the package was the ashtray for the ProFest.
Yeah.
Which I blew one of, and I just received a red one with Lito's silhouette in the center. They're really gorgeous.
They're gorgeous. And by the way, I think I'm with you, Danny. I'm going on the LaFleur trip every year after that feast we had.
Yeah, well,
You know, when we talked to last time we had Carney on, I mean, we've had Lito on before too, but like Lito took like a year and a half to like develop this ashtray. Do you know that? Like he did like all this research. He was like engulfed in this for like a year or so, trying to figure out like he wanted to create the best possible ashtray, right?
Yep.
And when you see it in person, I'm just telling you, it's amazing. Look, in person, it just stands out.
Under the light, does it have that kind of like glow to it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Wow.
I had forgotten we
That is
got
cool.
one with Pro Cigar. That was the Pro Cigar one. I forgot about that one.
Right.
Because I just got the red one as well.
Yeah. But the interesting part about Lee, he's a great guy, and he's actually making a 50th anniversary cigar for me.
Great. Wow.
Yeah. I have 3 cigars coming out. One, our 50th anniversary dinner is this Wednesday, and it was made by Casada, actually made by Placencia, Casada's blend. We took his keg that my store sold out of his kegs. I have a picture of like 100 kegs in my store on the shelf, and they were gone in no time. So we made the cigar called the 50 TP keg, which has our 50th anniversary logo on it with the keg logo. And that came out 2 weeks ago. And in August, Pete Johnson's making a 50th anniversary. The Double D is coming back.
Oh, wow.
He made that for our 40th anniversary, and now he's making it for our 50th. And the third one is coming out in November by Lido. Blend to be determined, the size to be determined. Lido's working on it now as we speak. But the interesting part about Lido, he owns a tin factory. So when La Sirena Cigars came out with our flavors and our tins, the tins were made by Lido, and the cigars were made by La Aurora. And he owns the box factory. So all the Mexican Mermaid boxes come out of Dominican Republic, out of Lido's box factory. So
wow.
And when he does it right. I mean, he really, like you said, that ashtray he puts, have you guys seen his diamond cutter? I mean, he was working on that for a long time, and Lido was in the jewelry business beforehand.
Right.
Very interesting person, Lido. Great guy.
Yeah, he really is. It was great to have him. We've had him on the show twice now, at least since I've been here in the last 6 or 7 years, and just really easy guy to talk to as well, but really, really smart. So when John was talking about how much time Lido spent on the ashtray designs, I was fascinated by it. So I'm sure it's a great product.
Oh yeah.
With that said, Coop, it is time now. Sorry, Alex. We are going to go to Tail of the Tape Season 4.
All right, Tail of the Tape, Season 4. This is pick number 4. This week I went with Yuppie of the Montreal Canadiens. Now, Yuppie, besides being a much-loved mascot in Montreal, kind of has an interesting story. He has a couple of firsts for mascots. Number one, he's the first mascot to actually switch sports. Yuppie was originally the mascot for the Montreal Expos, and then when they wound up becoming the Washington Nationals, he went on to go with the Montreal Canadiens. He's also, and this is why I like him, he's the first mascot to ever be kicked out of a Major League Baseball game. In the 11th inning of a game against the Los Angeles Dodgers, Yuppie plunged into the top of the Dodgers dugout, and at which the infamous Tommy Lasorda, who seems to not really love mascots so much, as I'm sure we'll hear in upcoming episodes, went and had Yuppie kicked out of the game. What do you got, Coop?
Oh, that's a good one. So it's a pair of mascots. It is Boomer and Sooner. So they are the mascots for the University of Oklahoma, and they're famous for pulling that Conestoga wagon during Oklahoma football games. And if you saw a couple of years ago, there was the one where they were running, that the wagon comes out and it falls over. But they've been around for a while, Boomer and Sooner, since like 1964, and they are very popular. But what happened is, and this is Alex and I were talking about this yesterday. They have these live mascots, but they wanted to carry these over into some of the other sports, namely basketball. So they created like costume versions of these mascots as well, so that they can have them at basketball games. But I mean, I look at that. I think it's one of the most unique things at a college football game when you see those ponies come out with the wagon. And there's been the other thing is just like live mascots. They go through many iterations of these, so it's not the original ones from '64. But Boomer and Sooner, Number 4, Alex, I gotta say, with UP, did he have any battles with the Fanatic? I'm trying to remember this because the Phillies and Expos had a huge rivalry in the early 80s.
Yes. So interestingly, I didn't see. I'm sure they did because it was a huge rivalry. But if you look up UP, Coop, there are a ton of memes of UP and Gritty, which are kind of hysterical. Essentially, most of them are here's UP on this side, and this is your brain, and then you have Gritty. This is your brain on drugs. So it's kind of funny.
Yeah, it is. For sure.
I like those rivalries, man. I know very little about Yuppie. I've seen him before in like clips, but he gets into a lot of trouble too.
Yes, he does.
But we saw. I sent you guys a clip. Did you see that clip from the mascot that poured beer on a guy's head? Or
yeah, that was good.
The mascot was shooting silly string into the audience, and it got in the guy's beer, and he was like, he poured the beer on top of the mascot's head.
A lot of times I think those things are staged, but that one didn't look like it was. That
I don't know. They were.
Yeah, that one.
They were holding him back.
The mascot ruined that guy's beer, and he wasn't happy about it.
No, and then the mascot comes back later in the game.
That beer probably cost him $32 at the stadium. So I think that's true.
Absolutely. Well, cool. All right, where are we at in the show? All right. Well, in traditional fashion, we have to get to what would you rather? But Coop, I like to take this time when we're wrapping up with the guests to talk about like real cigar news type things with our guests, because you're the guy that knows the history of things. So what have we forgotten to ask Danny and Arielle? Do you have any hard questions? No, Arielle's like, oh my God, what's he gonna say?
Harder, don't make it harder than the music, okay?
No, I think we covered most of the big things as far as that goes. So I don't think we missed anything. I was going to ask Danny if he had any releases coming up for Tobacco Plaza, and that was a nice surprise to hear those releases. So I think we covered it all pretty well.
I wanted to ask you, Arielle, because when we last had you guys on was the day of my wedding. The guys came up. They crashed our wedding, unbeknownst to me. That Stephanie, my wife, knew, but they came to the wedding. But they were out in Great Neck, and we got married in Oyster Bay, and not Oyster Bay. Oh God, I should remember what town we get. Well, anyway,
just remember the date.
So,
just don't forget the date.
Yeah, I got the date. So the question for you is, you were pregnant, I think, with your first child, possibly. That was 5 years ago.
So I'm saying, okay, yeah, that was the date. Yep. So I was pregnant with my first.
Yeah. So how has being a mother changed your role with the company, or has it changed your role with the company?
It's definitely changed my role, but coincidentally, COVID also happened around the same time. So the way that it's changed has been on like in the front end, right? Before I had kids, I was on the road 4 days a week for, 50 weeks out of the year. I was traveling a lot, and I would go to Dominican for, weeks at a time. I would go to Nicaragua. So the travel part has definitely changed, but I don't think it feels that large because everyone's travel had changed over the past 2 to 3 years. I'm still, I guess I definitely have far less time to spend on social media now because I'm running after 2 little ones. But in terms of working on the blends with my dad and promoting and being in touch, I do think that Zoom helped me tremendously because I could still do the things that I love and make sure that how many times Dad's like, can you do? I'm like, well, can you just schedule it during nap time? Because then you have 2 hours.
Right.
But, I knew it would change, right? Like being a woman for whatever it's worth, it may not be, 2022 politically correct, but I'm a mom and I like to spend time with my children. So I knew even when I got in this business, Renee, it's very funny. At 25, we started La Sirena. I was 25 years old. And he said, promise me you won't even get married till 30. Like, promise. And I was like, I think that's a fair deal,
That's a good general rule for life anyway, right? I always said that. I had to be over 30 to even consider marriage.
Yeah. And then I think about the guys that I dated. I was like, who would I married at 25, 26, 27? Okay. I was good. Max was worth waiting for,
Right.
I got married at 22.
Wow. Yeah, it was a different time.
Different generation for sure.
Yeah, I got married at 23, yeah.
I gotta say though, I do want my girls to get married a little earlier. Like I want to be like, I don't know, I don't want to be the old grandma.
How old were you when you got married, Arielle?
I was 29, but almost 30.
Close.
I was 34. It's tough. It's
29,
tough though
30
for
anyway.
women.
Realistically,
Seriously.
Yeah, and
Round up.
like for women, obviously, there's you wanted to have kids, and that was our whole thing. We got married at 34 and 33, so like we went a year and we had kids right away. But that's the we wanted to make sure we got the whole having babies thing. Hopefully, we're done now because 3 sounds like insanity compared to 2.
Does Stephanie think you're done?
That's what Abe always asks me. He goes, "Are you done or is she done?"
Right. If you ask my husband, we're done. If you ask me, I'm like, no, I think I could probably have 1 to 2 more.
You have 2 girls, or you have?
I have 2 girls.
Cutting
Alex, how
off
many
the
do you have?
pipeline.
Because you have 2
2.
boys, right, Paul?
Yeah,
Paul has
and so
2
does
boys.
Alex.
I have 2 boys, 6 and 10 months. 6 years old, 10. I'm done. I'm cutting off.
I'm going to give everyone some advice here from an older guy. Never say you're done or not, because what happened is my 4th came 11 months after the 3rd, and it was a big surprise.
I got surgeries for that kind of stuff.
I'm just saying.
Wait, Coop, what do you?
You need your spouse's approval.
Coop,
You
Coop,
need your spouse's approval in Florida.
I have a girl and 3 boys, and the girl's the oldest, and she's married.
Oh, wow.
And then I have 3 boys who I don't think are ever going to get married. So
I feel like once you hit 3, it doesn't matter. 4 or 5. I mean, you're just throwing another one in. I mean, when you get to that point, there's just kids that take care of kids anyway.
The 2 youngest ones are called Irish twins. I mean, because they were so close, and it was really like bringing up twins. So that's it's.
They're 11 months apart.
11 months apart. Yes.
Are they going to be in the same? Were they in the same grade?
They were actually 1 year apart the whole time. So it worked out.
Okay.
If it would have been a different part of the calendar year, it would have actually worked out where they were not in the same grade.
Wow. Wait, Paul, is that true? You have to get your wife's permission in Florida to have a vasectomy?
No.
I guess because for respectable doctors, yes, they ask for your wife's consent
I'm not
if you're married.
So.
Yeah, you're not married.
Paul has to get his wife's permission for
There's
everything.
a loophole. There's a loophole.
Paul has to get his wife's permission for everything, right?
Right.
Stop it. Stop it.
I'm filling it for Abe, Paul, so don't take it. He's doing the question.
Yeah,
Abe
exactly. All right. So in traditional KMA fashion, we're gonna go to do the would you rather questions. Guys, we're gonna bring in our intro and we're gonna ask you some typical would you rather questions from when we were kids to see how Arielle and Danny react to them. And I'm killing time to find the video in here. Alex, if you can help me at any time. I got it. All right, here we go. All right, so the Would You Rather segment brought to you by our good friends at Gurkha, and I just can't help but smile every time I see those pictures of Wani on there. He's a good sport. All right, go ahead, Alex, with the questions.
Wait. Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Questions. I want to guess what Arielle's Would You Rather, and I want her to guess what mine is, and then we'll see what they are.
All right.
Okay,
I like it.
that's cool.
I like it.
Nice twist.
That's good. A good idea.
All right, here we go. Question number 1. Would you rather talk like Yoda or breathe like Darth Vader?
Dad's going to say breathe like Darth Vader.
I don't even know what they do or how they sound. So
not a Star Wars.
By the way, and I was going to say because he doesn't know what Yoda sounds like, but you know,
I
Darth
couldn't tell you what
Vader.
Yoda sounds like. Yeah.
I don't know who they are.
All right.
Star Trek.
What would you say, Arielle?
Probably Yoda. Not that I could do it. I just think he's like so cute, you know?
All right. Moving on. Number 2. This one's a little more general. We'll get an answer from both of you. Would you rather be forced to sing along or dance to every song you hear?
We both are going to say sing along.
Yeah, both of us say sing along. You know, Arielle.
We both, no, you did it too. My dad did musical theater when he was growing up, and that's how he met my mother. Fun story. He was directing a show, and my uncle was in it, and that's how they met. But I also,
oh my God, that's why we all get along so well. I have a musical theater background too.
Arielle Arielle majored in Arielle majored in theater, musical theater.
I think I don't know.
And then she went to London for Shakespearean theater. Arielle has been off Broadway, and she is a singer and was on Saturday Night Live, backup singer for Adam Sandler, 8 Crazy Nights. Arielle is a professional singer, not dancer.
I love to dance. I'm the person on the dance floor the entire wedding. It's not good, but it's fun.
All right, here we go. Last question. This is an interesting one. Would you rather ask your ex or a total stranger for a favor?
Arielle would rather ask her ex because she's friends with all her exes. And
I think my dad would rather ask a total stranger because he probably doesn't remember many of his exes.
that's a funny story. But yeah, my wife was with you.
No, I was in McDonald's wearing a shirt that had my last name embroidered on the front, and a woman came up and said, "Ditkowich, is your father Danny?" And we were like, "Yeah." And my mom was there, and she's like, "You're the woman that bagged him?" And we were like, because he used to tell us stories that my dad's like, "I'm not joining Facebook until you girls are 18, so I know if there are any kids running around out there that I don't know about, we're safe." Like, that was his story.
That's funny. Well, guys, we want to thank you for coming on the show today. That was Would You Rather presented by Gurkha Cigars. It was awesome to talk to you guys today with the crazy circumstances with Danny's travel, Abe's travel. We did. So thank you so much, guys. Don't forget to go to smokein.com.
Before you go, I want to say thank you guys so much for having us. And thank you, Abe, who, is doing his thing in Chicago. If you get a chance, I want you guys, we did the same plate that Abe made when he was in kindergarten, we made. And when for their 25th anniversary, my sisters and I bought the plate making kit and recreated those plates as adults. You guys need to go online and buy it and give it to Abe and have him try and redo the plate, because it's one of our favorite things to look at. And I think he would enjoy it. And so thank you guys so much.
Plates we use in the house still. We love those plates. But they're not like
you can actually use them.
Yeah. You just can't put them in the microwave or they'll crack. But thank you guys so much for having us. This was an absolute blast.
Paul,
it was awesome.
Poop, as always.
Thank you.
Arielle, you're fabulous. Hope to see you soon. Oh, well, your birthday. I'll be in the city Tuesday night celebrating your birthday.
Nice.
Yes, and happy birthday to Paul.
Yeah, happy birthday.
And thank you. And
let us know how the burgers turn out. I'm gonna check online and see who wins that contest.
We will we'll stop in to see you guys at the shop.
Please do. We'll bring you some conditions
there for the summer. Oh,
absolutely.
That would be delightful.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Until next week, keep it lit.